Why are we seeing this increase in attacks on civilians? Is this a military tactic? Is it possible fallout of peace negotiations?
So the UN report actually talks about how there's been a 27% decrease in violence against casualties, civilian casualties in the past year, like compared to the past year. But there's been a 27% increase in the second quarter of 2019 compared to the first quarter. So there's obviously a ramping up of attacks against civilians. What's really worrying is that almost 1,400 people have been either killed or injured due to attacks by pro-government forces. That's a 31% increase compared to last year in the same time period. Now, is this a military tactic? Is this linked with the fact that the Taliban and the US have reached an incredibly important stage in the talks for establishing some kind of peace in Afghanistan? That's potentially very possibly correct. There's definitely a linkage. Now, whether that is actually it's actually working, I don't think so. I don't think that it's actually a very smart military tactic that they're being followed. And that's due to 4 reasons, right? First of all, they are not going to be able to, I don't think they're going to be able to pressurize the Taliban into agreeing to a ceasefire without American or foreign forces leaving the withdrawal of US forces from Afghanistan. Now, that's because they already control or contest half of Afghanistan at this point. In fact, the most since 2001. They also know that time is on their side. The longer they hold on, the Taliban, the longer they hold on, they know their position will be strengthened. The US President Donald Trump has actually promised the withdrawal of US forces before 2020. The other thing is the optics on the ground are not looking really great. The Taliban are actually saying things like, look, this claims are being strengthened by the fact that pro-government forces, NATO-led forces, are actually committing these casualties against civilians. Also, one very important point is that the IS is starting to take root in Afghanistan. 11% of these attacks against civilians are due to due to Daesh. So Daesh is actually now a part of the picture, and it's in the US and international community's interest to make sure that they are somebody is on the ground to control them.
Right. You talked about this not being a smart tactic, but is it a successful one for the Taliban?
For the Taliban, yes. The Taliban have not done anything strategically different than before. Tactically speaking, the Taliban have been internationally personae non gratae for a very long time. They are not part of the Afghan government. The only way they are able to register their influence is through, unfortunately, through acts of terror. And that is their way of registering and communicating influence, whereas the Afghan government and NATO-led forces, they have all the legitimacy in the world. The fact that they are there on the ground, they have international acceptance. They're not terror organizations. So they're able to, I don't know why they are continuing to cause civilian casualties. I feel that the international community has to come in to stop the civilian casualties. Otherwise, this is going to go unfettered.